Well, let's talk about a read that I have a special place in my heart for, and that is Witches of Adamas by Yu Imai. So this thing is so dumb, but it's such a fun story. Just to give you guys a quick summary of the plot, we have our main character Sato Yukinari, who is a young man who finds himself in his bedroom working on some alone time, right? When all of a sudden finishes up and he's like, ouch, he gets a little bead or a jewel that comes out in his hand. And he's like, bro, do I got kidney stones? What's going on? Polishes that bad boy off though and looks, and this thing is shining bright, man, shining bright like a diamond. So he's like, let me take this to the pawn shop really quick. Takes it to the pawn shop. The guy tells him, bro, this is worth like 500,000 yen. Like, this is super valuable. And his mind just gets blown, right? He's like, I can produce these things with my body. Cut a long story short, he goes back to his house, makes some more jewels, and then on his way to pawn all this money off, he ends up getting hit by Truck Coon, right? Truck Coon comes and hits him, but he does not die, get transported to another world. We do not got an isekai set up. He wakes up into this hospital with this super smoking hot doctor who talks to him and tells him, my man, you got Adamas syndrome. And basically Adamas syndrome is this illness that the carbon in your body creates these jewels, but the problem is, right, is that every time you make a jewel, you take years off of your life. So if you are not celibate, if you are sexually active and you have Adamas syndrome, you produce these jewels, but it continuously takes years off of your life. So those with this syndrome have to give themselves, I think, approximately 2 or 3 years, forgive me if I'm wrong, of celibacy before their body regulates back to normal and they're fine. And Yukinari in his head is thinking like, bro, I'm dead. I don't stand a chance. And at his age, man, you can absolutely understand why he has this mindset. And then the rest of the story follows Yukinari trying to live with this illness while he is being coveted by so many women. These cloves of witches, I should say, who are after Yukinari's family jewels and are willing to watch him die if it means him busting and producing them a payday. So this thing is so close to age material. I don't know how it's not considered it. Like, it's like, it to me, it's so borderline. It's the most borderline ecchi thing I've ever seen, because some of the scenes that he gets in are just like so explicit and stuff. I'm like, bro, there's no way. The thing that makes Witches of Adamas so much fun is, one, the art. Yu Imai understands sexuality, I guess. He understands what makes a situation sexy, I suppose. What kind of thing goes through a man's head when it comes to these stupid male fantasies that we have, right? So I think that is one of Yu Imai's biggest strengths. But what also sets us apart is the sense of humor that Imai sensei has about everything that's going on. It really does not take itself completely seriously, which is one of this manga's biggest strengths, but it's also surprisingly compelling, right? Because you have this dude who is trying to go no fap and be a celibate man so he can live a normal life, get past this illness, and hopefully things can kind of go somewhat back to normal. But at the same time, he's finding his male instincts, right? What guy that is completely having every single woman that they know throwing themselves at him and are literally trying to jump his bones, how many are going to be able to resist, right? And that's really the setup of this manga, is how long would you be able to hold out if every woman in the world was throwing themselves at you, but you taking advantage of that means you would die. That's such an interesting and cool premise, and I love what Imai does with it, man. I think the situations that pop up are fantastic and creative. The writing cracks me up sometimes. I think the localization team definitely, I'm sure they took some liberties in certain spots, but you can also tell this thing isn't made to be completely serious. I was shocked at times by some of the graphic nature of what's happening, but if you don't have a problem with adult material, which I wouldn't think you were if you're even coming and looking at this review, this is a fun one, man. It's ridiculous. The premise is there. The art is great. And I think you could do much worse. I read both the first and second volume of this one, and so far I'm still enjoying myself, even as a month or two has passed since I've read the first volume. So if this sounds interesting and you find yourself wanting to learn more about how our protagonist Yukinari holds on to his family jewels, do yourself a favor and check out Witches of Adamas by Yu Imai. Won't be disappointed.